Afei mami ma wakwa ba na yenje ebre ne yentie kase no enchemu. Kase bo no de edi kan no ye du kopiem ewo enkran kropon mu ha. Hosoafo a wono na wohwe ye mpotemu. Afei abodie mu nyansape ene eho ensem a eka ho a eye environment, afei science and technology. Wowura ye fe no ononyamfo Muntala Mohammed ene de wakọ eye aprobo ewo enkran kropon mu na de oye nyina ne se wohwe mfidi a etimi dane eye enema ni ewo my Ghana mu ne titiri ewo enkran kropon mu ha a ye fe no recycling plant no eno na wo se otuso na mo na afei wohwe se Ghana betimi afa eye ne ntuma pafra na fe yatimi adane enema ni ewo my Ghana mu a na no na ene de no aprobo no ede ne kopiem ewo mfidi ni bi so a ne nsema wode etudwa aka che Ghana fo nyina ne se efidie ni enwuma wa beto so a wo hwe ya yenwie ye no o ka che Ghana fo nyina se so wono ye osoafo wo hwe sa aye asoye nso no eye den a obetimi di niema agufom na fe waboa ama adwuma biara enkane mampanye ye ya wantimi anwie no ono Muntala Mohammed one na soye no omo ebeto aso abra wo gina simpie so wo ka nsem we a che Ghana fo no sei no de nkyeremu emaye.
What we doing is part of the engagement that I decided to have as the Minister for Environment, Science and Tech, so that I can be brought to speed to appreciate some of the works of the various agencies and institutions that we have some arrangement with. We did with the various agencies, but we realized that as part of the circular development project that we have entered into some arrangements, some facilities grants we are given to some, plastic waste management entities. But I felt that I needed to have an appreciation of what they do and why I need to approve some of the monies that are meant for them. The process had actually begun. We are at the stage where we needed to approve and then give out those facilities for the purposes of what they do. And we started last week, and I guess today this is the second facility we have visited. I am particularly encouraged. I'm particularly encouraged because of the things they do. And the objective is to see how we can reduce, or those entities can help reduce the waste we have in the system, particularly plastic waste. And the good thing is that they are not just taking them, but they are converting them or using them for some domestic and commercial purposes. And for me, that is encouraging. My interest is how widespread, some of these things have. I realized that 11 that indeed had actually applied went through the processes. 8 were identified to be given the grant. But I realized that all the 8 but 1 are all in Accra, except that we have 1 in.
Na osoafo no esan ejina simpie so na okache Ghana fo ewasa aprobo ya ase se wo hwe eniema ekoso sisi ade a okache Ghana fo nyina se enche bia sa adwuma wo ya wo mu asase wo mo ye no e di nwuma bebre ebeba o ma Ghana ememebru no etimi enya adwuma ye na ni bia wo so wosan esisi dua ekire Ghana fo se wo hwe eye asede biara e wasa ban ne ye e de ma sa adwumakue na sabi o mu hutimi tom no mutimi yo madwuma nso a wo se nyina na nya ade obema na abo wo mu na obegyina eye ne tumi so na fe wo jana ho den so na fe watimi aboa ama sa nwuma we ya wo my Ghana yimu no wo nso atimi agina wo na so wo matimi atintim na wo nwuma no atimi akwa animu Muntala Mohammed edisem wetuga.
So I was particularly concerned why we don't have one in Ashanti. We don't have one in any part of the northern Ghana. We don't have one perhaps in Volta or Eastern. You realize that they are all concentrated. Of course, some would argue that a lot of plastic waste, are gotten in Greater Accra. Because about 30%, was it about 60% of the waste that we produce are from Greater Accra. One thing that is also of concern to me is that we are able to process just 10% of the plastic waste we generate in this country. So the question is, the other 90%, what happens? So we are looking forward to expanding this particular assistance and grants to a lot of entities who are engaged and having the expertise to manage the plastics that we have. Because if you can only recycle 10% and then the 90%, what happens? They all contribute to the environmental degradations and the hazards that we have. So I'm impressed, and I think that we'll take the final decision after we have finished with this tour, we are taking note, and there are some demands I am making on them, particularly the jobs they will be creating as a result. And we are particularly interested in creating jobs, particularly. We are gender biased for women. You know, we realize that we live in a country where majority of the people in this country are women. So there is the need for some concerted effort in the policy interventions we have to gear towards, you know, bringing to power our women, our sisters and mothers, who may also be very useful. And they are indeed useful. Their work is not only limited to the home. I think that there are enormous potential. So if you are doing things like this, all my concerns are how many women are you, you know.
Jeffrey and some